If you hold XRP, you should not be overlooking Axiology. And in this video, I am going to go over a lot of information that ties this all back to $30 to $50 trillion that could soon be trading on the XRP ledger. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a quick look at when I first found out about Axiology, it was from Anthony Welfare, a former Ripple employee. Now, this was the first time that I heard about the project, and it was great to have so much interest in this exciting project, Axiology, with Superh. More details are on the slide, image shared. You may need to zoom in. The first phase of the project, phase 0, the concept testing phase, was completed at the end of 2022 and developed a private XRP ledger sidechain to issue securities. This was then used to actually issue private company equity on the sidechain. The phase was configured with 0 fees, but the solution can use either native XRP or any other token on the XRP ledger sidechain. Phase 1, now in progress, will test the use of a settlement coin for instant settlements using our CBDC merger or manager. And in this, we can actually see this. So this is the full breakdown of the actual project. This is the slide. Now, this is a slide that I have been following for so long. And we have what? Distributed Financial Market Infrastructure, FMI. Axiology is XRP ledger-based technological layer 4 DLT transaction settlement system, a new regulated institution type under EU DLT pilot regime regulation. So this is literally designed for institutions, and it is fully regulated under the EU DLT pilot regime regulation. Now, this is the value proposition. Distributed FMI for tokenized securities. That's the big thing, tokenized securities. Just for reference, the DTCC settling $3 quadrillion worth of securities per year. One layer regulated FMI instead of a multi-layer custody settlement and trading interconnected platforms. Process efficiency, automation, cost, regtech savings, direct retail participation possible, regulated fractionalization of tokenized securities, secondary markets for tokenized securities, AMM, issuance on the ledger of fungible token-based regulated securities, integration of regulated settlement coins, MiCA, stablecoins, CBDCs, and then we have EU, make capital market accessible to retail, seize the momentum for regulatory certainty, build on crypto industry insights, solve a real problem with CBDCs. And here we have a quoted article that was titled "Why Europe Stock Markets Are Failing to Challenge the US." And the whole point of this is to focus on tokenizing stock markets. We've heard this from Larry Fink from BlackRock. We've been talking about it for quite some time. This is the end game. Now, also over here from Subjective Views, we have from Ripple's latest CBDC white paper, The Digital Evolution of Money, Ripple, Superh, Axiology. Superh is a private blockchain tech research lab based in Lithuania, currently working with central banks. They created a project called Axiology, which is a tokenized securities trading and settlement system infrastructure built on the XRP ledger. Both have been featured as partners on the Ripple Insights blog. On the Axiology website, it clearly shows partnerships with Ripple and the EU. This spring, Superh took part in the BIS Innovation Hub, London Center's tech sprint on CBDC use case prototyping, which utilized API functionality of Project Rosalind. And if you guys do know, yes, Project Rosalind was also tied back to Quant Network with Overledger. Superh was selected as one of the 3 teams on the basis of originality, completedness, and quality of presentation. They presented the Axiology project led by Dr. Marius Uriglis. I hope that I'm saying that name correctly. I'm probably not. I'm probably butchering it, but SVP of Research and Innovations. Now remember that name because he's going to be brought up for the rest of this video. Before joining Superh, he led the BIS Innovation Network CBDC Working Group and was a member of the ECB High-Level Task Force of the Digital Euro. And this is also a part of a much bigger picture because he was also a board member of the Bank of Lithuania for 9.5 years. He also aims to develop a regulatory compliant infrastructure within the scope of the European Union DLT pilot regime regulation. This is how it all gets tied back to the CBDC narrative, the cross-border payment narrative, and also tokenization of essentially everything as well narrative. And this is all with the XRP ledger and Ripple in mind. And we can see this under developing regulatory compliant infrastructure with DLT for the European Union. This is a huge deal. And then also over here, Ripple is delighted to be working with Superh and the Axiology Decentralized Securities Project, further developing our commitment to delivering real-world use cases for CBDCs. The project aims to develop a regulatory compliant infrastructure within the scope of the European Union DLT pilot regime regulation. The settlement of tokenized securities requires a tokenized settlement asset such as a CBDC or stablecoin. This will enable instant issuing and settlement of a securities asset, such as a bond or a share. This project will deliver significant learning for a future CBDC, which can then be issued by European banks. Now, outside of this, we also have Verified, Ripple, Superh, Orion, and then also the EU. Then also over here, we have the SVP of Research and Innovations at Superh. Now, outside of this, we also have an updated view of this built on the XRP ledger Axiology chosen by the ECB, the European Central Bank, for digital euro experiment pioneering DLT in capital markets. Ripple-backed Axiology has been chosen to participate in the second wave of the Eurosystem Central Money Settlement Experiment organized by the European Central Bank. This experiment explores using DLT for settling transactions with central bank money. Axiology, alongside major EU banks and one other DLT trading and settlement system operator, Trade on 21X, will test how DLT can be applied to the settlement of debt securities, including bonds, within both primary and secondary markets. The other DLT trading and settlement system operator 21X is using the Polygon POS. Now check this out.
Ultimately, maybe I'll just bring to your attention maybe something which is very obvious, which has been talked very widely, and which I have been participating also, is all the concept of digital currency as such, because that's also potentially could be the result of tokenization, because we could tokenize central bank reserves. Some critics would say, why would we need to do that? Because it's already sitting on a digital centralized record. Well, yes, but if we want to interact with those digital tokens, digital assets or tokenized assets, which we are now referring to, we need tokenized form of settlement. And that's not the only, but one of the reasons why central banks around the world are intensely looking for the best way to introduce this digital notion of cash.
Now, if we hear that and also read on this page, 97% of institutions agree. $16 trillion experts estimate it. This is around the tokenizing of global illiquid assets by 2023. We also have over here 88% of investors are comfortable utilizing a digital representation of cash. And then 120 plus countries are exploring CBDCs. Roughly about 95% in the world. I think now it's about 98%. The $16 trillion opportunity is still the big estimated amount that tokenization could affect. And then also over here, we do have stakeholders participating in Wave 2. We have 21X AG with Polygon, and then Axiology with the XRP ledger. And then also over here, we have the DLT architecture around how this all works with XRP ledger, Hyperledger, Basu prototype. We also have the regulators, the EMT issuer, the broker, and then you also have the distributed ledger itself. And then on the left side, we have Axiology builds on the XRP ledger. Everything works fine. Why do we need DLT? It is just another database. No, we have transparency, price discovery process, settlement risk elimination, less intermediary steps, and tracking record as well. Now, I also want to take you guys over here to the global fintech movement. This is a major event. And if we actually scroll down and read about this, it's hosted by some significant organizations, including, of course, the Saudi Central Bank, Capital Market Authority, Insurance Authority, Fintech Saudi, and a few other companies as well. Now, this is the lineup. These are the speakers. Again, like I said, Saudi Central Bank, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Capital Market Authority, Insurance Authority, and the list just goes on and on and on. Securities, commodities, major central banks, and there's a lot more. Like, these are just a few of them. If you wanted to go and check out all of these speakers, guys, This is 300 plus speakers, 300 plus brands, 350 plus investors, 26,000 visitors as well. And like I said, the list goes on and on and on and on. This is one of the most substantial events out there. And one of the speakers is the co-founder and CEO of Axiology himself. Now, this was the agenda: fireside chat, the future of finance, the rising tide of fintech lenders, and then also panel, the impact of technological innovation on capital markets. And this is where we think about AI, tokenization, blockchain, bringing this in to completely revolutionize the financial markets. This is where we look at tokenized securities. Now, also, more recently, 3 days ago, check it out. We did it. Axiology wins Sprint Startup Award at 24 Fintech Forge competition. And this is, of course, with those major organizers around the Saudi Central Bank and so forth. This is very, very significant. And this also leads us down the rabbit hole, if you will, around tokenized oil, which I do believe will become a reality. Now, also over here, remember this: 30 to 50 trillion all on the XRP ledger trading on Archix crypto. This was at Ripple Swell 2023. This is the RWA market. The total market is 1.4 quadrillion across any of those asset classes. They are all starting to move on chain already. Money market funds, tokenized treasuries, the support for stablecoins, the DTCC. This is where we look at tokenized securities. Check it out.
No, well, I'm probably a bit more bullish, but I have been for 6 years and we're slightly behind my original projections. But the total market is 1.4 quadrillion, everything that's ever out there. And if you start looking across any of those asset classes, they're all starting to move on chain already. And the ease with which we've seen people interested in money market fund, tokenized treasuries, and those types of instruments, the support for stablecoins. When you're talking about replacing cash, when I see DTCC, Euroclear, Clearstream, it only takes one of them to flip onto natively digital, and that's trillions of assets on its own that move. So, tens of trillions, I think we could see. And bearing in mind it's 1.4 quadrillion, this is still a tiny slice of a huge market. 30 to 50 trillion, all on XRP, all trading on Artex.
Here we go, 50 trillion.
Now, of course, there you guys have it. Marcus Invinger there at the end as well. Listen, 30 to 50 trillion, all on the XRP ledger by the end of 2025. Don't know if that's going to become a reality. I've always said that. But thinking about this and then thinking about the digital euro, because over here we have wholesale digital euro, the announcement of the European Central Bank that this spring 2024, it will be inviting firms providing tokenized assets to interconnect with the European Central Bank wholesale digital euro Axiology. Central banks are understanding where the big game is. Central banks need to be ready to provide electricity to channel those transactions. CBDCs and atomic settlement. Check it out.
There's one thing missing in our discussion which links very well to what we are discussing on the previous panel, what was discussed on the previous panel. Real world asset trading transaction, be it real world assets or tokenized form, they require ultimate settlement asset. Central bank digital currency is something, or tokenized form of money, be it stablecoin, regulated stablecoin, or central bank digital currency, will be required to power these initiatives. And jurisdictions which are leading in that will have a big or very strong foundation, besides the need to ensure that KYC, AML, and legal securities regimes will need to be adapted. Central banks need to be ready to provide the electricity to channel those transactions. So I would bring your attention to all the initiatives on central bank digital currencies that are happening in the world, and the recent shift in the discussion from retail central bank digital currency, to facilitate person-to-person transactions, to wholesale CBDC, which is showing that central banks are understanding where the big game is and willing to start experimenting. And the recent announcement of European Central Bank announcing that next spring they will be inviting firms providing tokenized assets to interconnect with the central bank, European Central Bank wholesale digital euro. And that's, I believe, will either bring Europe into the forefront or some other jurisdictions, usually in Southeast Asia, will
Very good
be
point,
leading.
Marius. So basically, the CBDC development as an indicator for where, obviously, the whole scenery will be bearing fruits for.
So there you guys have it. And again, you know, one that is at the forefront with this is Axiology. They were chosen for this. They were literally chosen by the ECB. It was organized by the ECB, and Axiology was chosen to participate in the second wave of this Eurosystem central bank money settlement experiment. And it is utilizing the XRP ledger. And we already know how efficient this is for central banks, for settlements, CBDCs, stablecoins, anything. We have been talking about this. We have been studying this for so long. Guys, the whole picture is here. All you have to do is really look past all the nonsense, all the noise that's out there in this space right now. You can clearly see everything coming together here. And yes, it's not just about XRP and the XRP ledger or just Ripple, but I do believe that the XRP ledger, XRP, and Ripple play a significant role in the evolution of money. So I do think that this is something that I feel very comfortable about holding for the next 5, 10 plus years, because I do think that over time, everyone's going to see the value and utility. And I don't think that we have to hold for 5, 10 years. I think that's going to start happening very, very soon, especially with regulations on the horizon. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.